RYUC After Action Report Essential Self-Talk. This recording is part of a series of recordings reporting on an exploration into our creativity, collectively entitled Releasing Your Unlimited Creativity After Action Report, abbreviated RYUC-AAR. This particular recording addresses the creativity essential on the topic of self-talk. That is, the way we talk to ourselves. Background on the Creativity Essentials and the RYUC material. The Creativity Essentials are concepts, principles, ideas, or whatever one may wish to call them, related to the source out of which our creativity arises. The journey of exploration into our creativity revealed the essentials needed to be addressed and understood in some way by an individual if one desired to move as deep as possible into their own creativity, creative ability, and creative power in this incarnation. Otherwise, one would be placing self-imposed limits on their creativity. Essentials are not building blocks or fundamental items used to create something. Rather, the essentials are about the stuff out of which the building blocks and foundational items arise. It is suggested you ponder, contemplate, do your own experiments with the creativity essentials such that you know their truth for yourself. Here I wish to bring to your attention we each have a very unique perspective of creation. What I say and write about on the topic of creativity with its relationship with the creative essence of creation are my comments based on my observation and experience from the journey of exploration into our creativity. If what I say resonates with you, use it. Otherwise, it's recommended you do your own contemplation, experiments, and exploration into the variety of topics discussed here to see which true for yourself. Become aware of your self-talk. The journey of exploration into our creativity utilized the creativity perspective to look to see where individuals were not holding their creativity sacred and were being robbed of their creative power and creative ability in some way. It was found self-talk, the inner dialogue we have in our own mind, was one of the major ways we rob ourselves of our creative power and creative ability. Self-talk is about how we talk to ourselves about ourselves, of who we are and who we think we are. One of the things that became very important is to be aware of our self-talk and how we talk to ourselves and the words we use. Do the words we use to talk to ourselves allow us to grow and expand into the possibility of options? Or do we continually narrow ourselves down and believe something is impossible and we cannot do anything and we are in a situation where we have no option? In our self-talk, we can say things like, "I am stupid." But in hearing ourselves say that, we believe ourselves. However, if we say that we are competent and able to create and find solutions, we will believe it and we will find solutions. One of the more important things we can do to access and expand our creativity is to become aware of any and all limiting self-talk we may have. Becoming aware of our self-talk becomes very important relative to allowing options to remain open. The words we tell ourselves should be in the direction we wish to create with our life. This means our beliefs, expectations, attitudes, desires, fears, judgments, feelings, consistent and persistent thoughts and actions give rise to and create our own unique perception of creation. How do we talk about these things that create our own unique perception of creation? In many ways, we can say the world is what we think it is. There are two issues related to self-talk of which to become aware that is important that impacts our creativity. One issue is the conversation we have with ourselves about ourselves. The second issue is how we talk about ourselves to others. We could write books about both of these topics, and there are many books and videos out in the world that do address these topics. All we wish to do here is bring your awareness to the existence of self-talk and for you to become attentive to the self-talk so you can then take whatever actions you feel appropriate. Relative to our creativity, self-talk becomes extremely important because of the nature of our mind. Our mind retains what it hears, and if it hears something often enough, it will believe what it hears. Actually, under the correct conditions, mind will hear something once and it will believe it. The question is, do the conversations within ourselves and what we say about ourselves empower us? Or does what we say somehow rob us of our own power? Energy is necessary for all movement. Creative power is about the creative energy necessary to manifest and/or animate a creation. To create something, you need to have the energy to create it. Within the human being, the creative energy and creative power is related to the degree of passion we have for what we wish to create. However, one cannot act if there is no desire or ability to act. So the question is, what are the things that rob us of our desire to act? We cannot fix something if we do not understand what is occurring. But when we understand, we have the possibility to change it. Then the question is, do we have the ability to change it and act on the power that becomes available? Do we understand it sufficiently, and do we have the tools to do what needs to be done? Relative to self-talk, we need to come to the understanding how derogatory or disparaging comments cause us to lose enthusiasm for life or cause us to act in a way that robs us of our creative power. All are probably aware we do not like to be around anybody who continually puts us down in some way or criticizes us. So why do we want to be with ourselves if we are continually criticizing ourselves in an internal dialogue? Any comment we tell ourselves that does not motivate us or excite us is robbing us. Similarly, our mind hears what we tell ourselves and we begin to believe it, and we begin to become what we believe. So it is essential we become aware of the comments we make internally or comments we use to describe ourselves externally. Internal comments like, "Boy, that was a stupid thing to do," or "I don't have the talent to do that," whatever it may be, or "I am not loved, people hate me," and any other type and kind of comment that is self-defeating in any way is robbing us of our power. In understanding there are self-defeating comments, and we become aware of this self-talk, we then have the possibility of rephrasing them to something neutral or more motivating. In addition to becoming aware of our internal dialogue and self-talk, we need to be aware of how we present ourselves to others. When we are offered a compliment for doing something, do we play down or deny the comment? For example, we are offered a compliment such as, "This is a really nice painting that you did." Do we respond with something such as, "Oh, it's okay, it could be better"? Or do we reject the praise and even add our own criticism? Or do we just accept the compliment and say thank you? Now, when we receive a compliment, I would suggest we tell ourselves, "Someone appreciated my painting," and digest the comment as we would feel in eating something we love and taste. Allow yourself to enjoy the taste of the compliment. Now, if for some reason we still feel inside ourselves that the painting was not adequate, then we need to ask ourselves, "They like what I painted. I wonder how I can improve what I did paint." Here we accept what we did, and it may not be as good as it could be, but we do not degrade ourselves. Rather, we optimistically look and know how we have the ability to improve beyond what we currently do. The bottom line here is not to degrade or downgrade our accomplishments when recognized by another. It needs to be noted that in rephrasing our self-talk, we are also exercising our creative power and creative ability to consciously change our life. It needs to be clearly understood our mind hears and believes what it hears, whether we are telling ourselves or another is telling us. There is no reason whatsoever we should not allow our mind to hear positive and constructive comments. If we're going to tell ourselves such general lies such as "I am not loved" or "people hate me," there's no reason we cannot tell ourselves a positive lie. Of course, to say "everyone loves me" is a lie, for there's always at least one person who would disagree with such a statement. But there is no reason whatsoever to not say such things in our internal dialogue, for in most cases we are acceptable to others. Maybe not everyone, but to many. Changing our internal dialogue to positive comments is not that hard. For example, changing "Boy, that was stupid" to "I was unaware of fully understanding the situation." And we might add, "I choose to pay more attention in the future." Similarly, we can change a statement such as "I don't have the talent" to "That is something I never really tried to do." Now, in becoming aware of such statements and rephrasing them in a more positive and constructive way, we are also exercising and improving our creativity. The bottom line on self-talk is to understand our mind listens to all that it hears, and it is very susceptible to suggestions. From a creativity perspective, it is suggested we look at every thought our mind hears is like a seed. If conditions are correct, that seed will take root and grow within our mind and eventually bear fruit reflecting how we respond in life. And our mind is tremendously fertile for the thoughts we have. Our mind is much like any garden. It needs to be cultivated. As with any garden, there are things we wish to grow, and then there are weeds that can destroy the garden unless they are removed.